Question: what is the fastest, most effective way to lower proteinuria and creatinine levels in all the stages of CKD? So, there is one thing that, in my experience, works better than anything else in order to lower your proteinuria and your creatinine levels as well. This you see here is the personalized renal diet I have developed in order to recommend it to my patients. This is a science-based approach to the low-protein diet that I have found to be extremely effective, especially if you also add this supplement. More about it later on in this video. Catherine here, I'm a doctor in natural medicine. Now, the reason why this diet works is because it is a lot easier to follow than a traditional renal diet, and also because it's personalized for the need of the patient. But how effective is it, you may ask? Well, let's just say that this diet is based on a study in which the test subjects started to improve as soon as this diet was started. Yes, in a few weeks of a diet very similar to this one, renal function went from declining to improving. And you know what's the most incredible part? eGFR, as we can see, increased from 45 to 74 ml per minute in just 4.5 months.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that's just amazing. I mean, we are talking about a 64% improvement in kidney function. This isn't just a small gain, it's transformative. However, it's not even the most incredible result. In this paper, the test subject shown a proteinuria level that went from 414, which is very, very bad, to 26.8. That's a dramatic shift toward better health. And of course, the approach they use is incredibly innovative and extremely effective. Best part? These can be personalized for your very own needs. In fact, whether you're seeking a proactive approach to support your kidney function or you want a working way to improve even in the advanced stages, this personalized diet offers a path that's both highly effective and easy to incorporate into daily life. So, if you are interested in starting a diet that's easy to follow, tested and personalized for your very own needs, send me an email to Catherine at newhopeforkidneypatients.com and let's talk. I'm currently accepting new consultations, but slots are filling up quickly. Email me today and take the first step toward improving your kidney health together. I'll also include a link below in description so you won't have trouble finding me. Keep in mind that with CKD, wait and see what happens is never the right approach. Now guys, today I don't just want to show you how effective the innovative approach I'm employing is. I also want to show you how I can personalize this diet for you, and most importantly, who can follow this diet and who cannot. So yeah, a lot to talk about. Let's start with the most interesting part, the personalization. Yes, unlike the clothes at your local discount store, one size fits all doesn't really work with the renal diet. So question, how is the renal diet personalized? Now guys, this diet you see here in my hands is, of course, just a draft. This bad boy needs to be tailored specifically to each and every one of you. And of course, all these diets are whole foods, plant-based, because we're not barbarians here. But hold on, this is not some basic vegan starter kit. No, depending on proteinuria levels, diabetes status, potassium, body weight, blood pressure, and 100 other factors, the list of foods I recommend will change faster than a politician changes their stance during election season. No, seriously, it will change even faster than you can Google, do I have to give up bacon for this? And I'll give you some examples. Let's say you have high proteinuria as an example. In that case, some of your best food choices could include ginger and turmeric. In fact, studies show that consuming turmeric daily can significantly lower proteinuria levels. Actually, patients with proteinuria may be recommended turmeric even as a supplement. Another amazing food for proteinuria is flaxseed. This small seed is amazing as well. It protects the kidneys, especially in those with inflammatory kidney disease. These are often associated with high proteinuria, by the way. And there are studies showing that flaxseed can improve GFR in these patients. Now, let's say you have diabetes. How would I personalize your diet? The foods I may recommend would include stuff such as okra or ladyfingers. This food contains a special type of fiber that decreases sugar absorption in the digestive tract, leading to a more stable blood sugar response. Bitter gourd is also amazing. This is something you can find in Asian markets. Studies show that eating bitter gourd daily is like slapping diabetes in the face. Patients had a significant drop in body weight, HbA1c levels, and even managed to keep their kidney function intact just by eating this food. In short, the renal diet is not one size fits all. It's a meticulous, personalized plan designed to keep your kidneys as happy as possible. Just think of it as nutrition with a vengeance, a way to turn every meal into an offensive move against CKD. Now guys, another very important way in which I will personalize your diet is your need for calories. This can make a huge difference for people who need to fight diabetes. Let me explain. You think you know all about cutting back on sugar and carbs, but brace yourselves. There is more. A lot more actually. So yeah, if you have diabetes or need to lose weight, sugary foods are public enemy number one. We're talking candy, snack bars, energy drinks, cookies, fruit juices, and of course anything made from that beloved refined white flour. If it's sugary, processed, or comes in a wrapper with cartoons on it, it's gotta go. And I know none of this is groundbreaking news, but hold on. As I was saying, there is more. Here's the twist. There is a whole other category of foods that most people with diabetes don't even realize they need to avoid. And it's gonna be a shocker for some. Ready? Pure added fats. Yeah, you heard me right. Olive oil and oils in general, all of that healthy fat stuff you were told is good for you, butter included. If you've got diabetes, that's now enemy territory. Why, you ask? Because of the calories. Let me break it down for you. Those 2 tablespoons of olive oil you're dousing on your healthy salad, they're worth 250 sneaky calories. That's right, 250 calories you just chugged without even noticing. That's like knocking back half a Big Mac without even getting a bite of bread. Congratulations, you've just turned your lettuce bowl into a drive-through meal and without any of the fun. And yes, please, don't let anyone tell you that good calories don't count. Calories don't care about your feelings. It doesn't matter if they're from olive oil or sugar. Every calorie is a calorie. And they all add up. And if you didn't know, olive oil is much more caloric dense than basically anything else on earth. Yeah, sugar included. Remember guys, it's not where you are getting your calories from that makes you gain weight. It's just the amount of calories. Anyone who tells you otherwise is either lying or just plain clueless. And that's why if you have diabetes or if you need to lose weight in a sustainable way, pure added fats are banned. But don't worry, it's all in there. Now, let's say that on the other hand, you are someone who is underweight, alright? This happens a lot, unfortunately, because CKD patients in the advanced stages often suffer from nausea. Plus, being kidney disease associated with inflammation, many patients have trouble assimilating nutrients from foods. And you may understand that nausea plus malabsorption is a recipe for disaster. So, what are those foods people with advanced kidney disease and maybe nausea and lack of appetite should be focusing on? Well, when it comes to getting more calories per bite, your best friends are foods rich in fat, alright? Yes, the exact same foods that are banned for people with diabetes. Fat is more caloric dense than the other two macronutrients that are carbs and protein. So what foods would I include in the diet of a CKD patient that ask me to make them gain weight? First of all, olive oil, especially extra virgin olive oil if you can find it. This oil is super healthy as it is rich in monounsaturated fats that have strong anti-inflammatory properties. Olive oil is so powerful when it comes to reducing the inflammation. Its effect is comparable to that of certain NSAIDs when taken regularly. But of course, if you can't find or can't afford good olive oil, other types of oils, especially avocado oil or seed oils, can help as well. Even margarine. Maybe not as beneficial as olive oil, but if the alternative is literally starving because you just can't eat enough, well, go for margarine. Something else I usually recommend are nut butters. Almond butter is like the holy grail of nut butters. It's packed with magnesium, which is key for kidney health, reduces blood pressure, fights inflammation, and even helps with diabetes if eaten in moderation. Can't find almond butter? Peanut butter is ready and willing to help you out. Just don't rely on it too heavily since it's rich in protein and we're here for the fats. Oils are better for this point of view, no protein in them. Remember that for someone who is losing too much weight, malnutrition is the enemy number one. Anything that this kind of patient can eat is great, especially if it's caloric dense. Yes, there are patients that need the extra calories in order to survive. For these patients, not even sweets, sugary foods, and white bread and pasta are banned.
What?
And I know what you may think now. But Catherine, you say all those Instagram influencers are saying that sugar is inflammatory. It causes glucose spikes, diabetes, wrinkles, car accidents, inflation, and 20 minutes of unskippable ads.
Most people eat starches and sugars for breakfast. Or maybe they just have a coffee with sugar in it. If you create a big glucose spike at breakfast, it actually controls your entire day.
Yeah, that. Sure, sugar is more addictive than and it will control your entire life if you take one coffee with sugar. Look guys, this kind of misinformation is exactly the reason why you want to follow a personalized diet if you have CKD, alright? Not everyone is suffering from diabetes. Not everyone is on a quest to shed pounds. The advice of avoiding sugar is very good for a lot of people, but not for everyone. It can be very bad for some patients. I mean, imagine being afraid to add a tablespoon of honey to your smoothie because an Instagram influencer told you so and you weigh 90 pounds. Let's be real guys, some of these influencers will have you starving to death for clout. But remember, if there is one thing that's more important for your health than following Instagram trends is being alive next month. Speaking of which, the renal diet is your number one weapon against proteinuria and against the progression of kidney disease and against diabetes and high blood pressure. It comes with one big limitation, however, the risk for nutritional deficiencies. Now, this can be a big issue for some patients more than others. So, there are certain nutrients we really must be keeping an eye on when starting a renal diet. First, there is vitamin B12, No plant-based food has this vitamin. If you are not supplementing it, you are taking a big risk. Same for omega-3s. These fatty acids are essential and you can risk a deficiency when following a plant-based diet. In fact, while there are many plant-based foods that contain omega-3s including walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, and more, this is not the same omega-3s you will get from animal-based foods. It needs to be converted by the body and this is not an efficient process. So, just like for the vitamins of the big group, you will want to supplement omega-3s when starting a plant-based diet. By the way, don't take liver fish oil, cod liver oil, or anything like that. You only want a supplement of EPA and DHA, and that's it. Also very important, zinc, another nutrient that's hard to get in a plant-based diet. You can get some from foods such as pumpkin seeds, lentils, chickpeas, and quinoa. But the overall intake may still be lower than needed, particularly when bioavailability is taken into account. Not to mention that medications such as phosphate binders or iron supplements interfere with the absorption of zinc. What to do then? Supplement zinc as well, but in a low dose. But of course, the biggest risk here is protein deficiency or malnutrition. Actually, this risk makes all the difference between those who can follow a plant-based renal diet and those who cannot. Okay guys, do you remember I was talking about patients in the advanced stages of kidney disease who have trouble keeping their body weight on? Well, for those patients, a plant-based renal diet can be a big risk. They could risk malnutrition or not having enough protein and calories in their diet. Now guys, this is not very common. For most people, it is almost impossible to eat so little protein that your body will suffer from that as long as you eat enough food every day. It is possible, however, for patients that are not able to eat enough to suffer from malnutrition. Insufficient caloric intake can lead to the use of protein for energy, which is bad, alright? This is called protein energy wasting. This can reduce muscle mass, inflammation, and other problems. And this is exactly why you have to talk to a doctor before starting a renal diet. We can tell if a patient is at risk for malnutrition because their serum protein levels are going to be low. And there are two ways to solve and prevent this issue. First is making sure the patient is getting enough calories every day. Do you remember when I was telling you that for some patients, even margarine and sweets can be present in a diet? Yeah, this is the reason. Second way to avoid the risk of malnutrition is the use of this supplement. This is a special type of amino acids called ketoanalogues. So, what are ketoanalogues and how can they help us? Well, the reason why this supplement helps is because it has all the essential amino acids you will get from eating protein from your food, alright? But you know, taking a scoop of this is not the same as eating a steak. And no, I'm not just referring to the fact that this tastes more like chalk than steak. It's because this supplement contains amino acid, the building blocks of protein, but not nitrogen. Nitrogen is the main renal toxin we get from protein and also the reason why CKD patients must avoid protein. So what happens when you remove almost all the protein from your diet and use this instead? You will keep your kidney function much longer and you won't risk malnutrition and any of the negative effects associated with a low protein diet. Yes, supplementing these special amino acids when on a low protein diet is a way to significantly delay dialysis in advanced stage CKD patients, as we can read. Now guys, these supplements must be prescribed by your nephrologist, alright? There are various brands and formulations. Each one of them has pros and cons that must be evaluated before you start taking this supplement. So yeah, no link in description to buy this, sorry about that, but I can mention a few brands so you can research them if you want. Some of the brands that sell these amino acids include Fresenius, Albutrix, and Ketoanalogues. Fresenius is the most used and most studied, but it is prescription only. Ketoanalogues doesn't require a prescription per se, but you still want your nephrologist to approve the use of this supplement, alright? So consult your doctor if you think you need them, and consider sending me an email if you want to follow a diet that makes the use of these supplements effective. And if you want more info about how to beat proteinuria and CKD, my video up here is for you. In this video, the 5 worst symptoms of kidney disease, and more importantly, how you can get rid of them naturally. And we will also see how to cut proteinuria in half with 1 pill a day. Catherine here, I'm a doctor in natural medicine, and today I want to give you exactly what you have been asking for. I've read your comments, guys. You are asking, how do I reduce the swelling? How do I lower protein in my urine? How do I stop the nausea? And more. So today, I'm sharing with you powerful natural ways to solve each and every one of these issues. But today, we're not just going to mask the symptoms. We're going to treat their root cause naturally and effectively. Now, the best part, when you start seeing improvements in these symptoms, it's a signal that your kidneys are actually healing. So, are you ready to feel the change? Let's jump right into it. Number 5, let's start with proteinuria, because I know that many people are worried about this symptom. Now, proteinuria is both a sign of kidney damage and a predictor of kidney function. This is why when people tell me, "Doc, my pee is looking frothy," my response isn't, "Congrats, you're a human cappuccino." Nah, it's more like, go get checked ASAP. Seriously, if you have DUBs, get a basic metabolic panel, maybe also an ACR test, because it's generally better to know you have a kidney problem than just keeping guessing. I mean, ignorance is bliss, they say. And yeah, that may work in some aspects in life, but for sure, it doesn't work when it comes to serious health issues. Just saying. And what if you already know your proteinuria is too high? Well, let's see how to slash your proteinuria in half. So there are a few things that actually help with this issue. First of all, vitamin D. Look, this vitamin is important. It's really important. It's like LeBron in the finals level important. And you know what makes me really mad? When doctors are trying to save pennies by giving you the knockoff vitamin D, aka ergocalciferol, or the discount version of vitamin D. I mean, vitamin D2 to CKD patients in 2024? Seriously? What's next? Leeches and bloodletting? Where did this doctor get their degree? Costco? Guys, I've seen vitamin D2 prescribed to more than 1 stage 4 and 5 CKD patient, and that really made me ask myself when saving a few pennies became more important than people's lives. Not good. When it comes to vitamin D, you want the good stuff. We're talking about the prescription for calcitriol, which is the active form, the form that actually works for CKD patients, not some vitamin that your grocery store stocks next to the 2-for-1 Doritos. Yes, you need a prescription that actually does what you're paying for. I know, shocking. Asking for a prescription that works. What is this? Wish upon a star? By the way, in a recent placebo-controlled trial, kidney disease patients who were administered 2 micrograms paracalcitol, a vitamin D analog, were able to see a huge drop in proteinuria levels of 34%. So keep that in mind. And if arguing with your doctor or maybe your insurance sounds unpleasing, remember, you've only got 2 kidneys. It's not like kidneys grow back and getting a third one from someone else. Well, these days, that's harder than finding a doctor who doesn't secretly Google your symptoms. Now wait a minute before you start making calls. I also have another recommendation to give you about proteinuria. This is a recommendation that I know will make the haters in the comment section go wild, but I decided that I don't care. Anyway, my recommendation is there are certain prescription medications that can actually help with proteinuria. Yep, I said it. Prescriptions, and I'm talking about stuff such as Forxiga, but also your garden variety ACE inhibitors and ARBs. Yeah, I know that I have often told you that these medications can be dangerous, but Please hear me out. While for a patient with stage 4 or even 5, taking these medications only means putting a huge burden on the kidneys without actually helping them, for people in stage 2 or 3 that only have proteinuria to worry about, taking these medications can mean delaying the progression of the disease by years. I mean, in a large study, Forxiga was able to lower proteinuria levels in CKD patients by more than 40%. So maybe consider it. So the bottom line here is there is no one size fits all when it comes to the treatment for kidney disease. Make sure your nephrologist and your PCP know what they are doing, and if you have doubts, well, you can shoot me an email at Catherine@newhopeforkidneypatients.com. It's also down in the description, and I can double check that you are doing all you need to do to get better. Yes, I'm available again for consultation, and I'm taking new patients, so consider sending me an email. Up next, number 4, we're tackling 2 symptoms of kidney disease that, let's be honest, are about as fun as walking barefoot on a Lego brick: swelling in the legs and urinating at night. Yeah, nothing says life of the party like legs that look like inflated balloons and midnight bathroom trips that make you feel like you're auditioning for a sleepwalking horror movie. And now some good news. There are natural treatments that work for both these issues. Yes, as promised, we are going to see natural treatments this time, not just pills. I mean, even natural treatments can come in pill form, but hey, never mind. I'm not here to philosophize about what's natural and what's not. I'm here to break down nocturia, the fancy term for needing to pee at night, and edema, which means swelling mostly in the legs because gravity is a jerk. But why am I grouping these 2 together, you ask? Well, because they share the same cause: fluid retention. That's right, your body is basically hoarding water like it's prepping for a drop. Because you see, decreased kidney function means that the kidneys can have a hard time removing enough fluid and sodium from the body. Due to gravity, this excess fluid will accumulate mostly in the legs and ankles. Hence, you're rocking that Michelin Man look by the end of the day. But don't get too comfy when you lie down at night. That fluid decides it's time for a road trip back to your torso. Why? Gravity. Your kidneys, which apparently set their alarms for 1 a.m., suddenly remember they've got a job to do. Now, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and instead of dreaming about tropical vacations, you're stumbling to the bathroom for the 4th time, wondering why your bladder is training for a marathon. So, how do we prevent gravity from making you spend the night in the bathroom? Spend the night in the bomb an astronaut. Yep, join NASA, fly Boeing, and get stranded on the International Space Station where gravity can't follow you and nocturia is not a thing. Up next, number... what are you saying? You're not up for the whole astronaut gig? Fine, if you insist on staying on Earth, there are natural diuretics that can help. First of all, what I recommend are foods with diuretic properties. These include asparagus, ginger, onion, celery, and arugula. Super healthy stuff that also really help kidney health in general, by the way. And we can also take advantage of certain herbs with diuretic properties. One of my favorites is dandelion. The leaves of this plant may be eaten in a salad or used to make tea for their diuretic property. They will directly help you filtering organs to function more efficiently. And if you want to make sure you are reducing the frequency of urination at night, try compression stockings. These special stockings can help improve blood flow in the legs by gently compressing them. Another trick many patients find useful in order to decrease the frequency of urination at night is lying with their legs raised during the day, especially in the afternoon and before going to bed. Doing this for even just 1 hour a day helps getting the extra fluids from the legs near the kidneys where they can get expelled. And remember, what works best for fluid retention is treating the cause of the issue. So be very careful with the salt shaker, alright? And increase water intake, especially in the morning and afternoon, but not before going to sleep. And most important, move more. Trust me when I say that the only thing we have that's close enough to be a panacea, a cure for all ailments, is regular exercising. When your body moves, fluid starts to move too, and it's easier for your heart to get it back to your kidneys. But hey, if walking on a treadmill is not your thing, I hear Boeing has 2 new open positions for ISS astronauts, and let's hope this time it's not just one-way only tickets. Up next, number 3, let's chat about the problem that being stranded in space will only make worse. No, it's not running out of oxygen, but you might wish it was. Constipation and hyperkalemia. That's right, guys. We're diving into the glamorous world of blocked pipes and potassium overload. Just what you sign up for, right? Now, every time I ask a patient if they're having regular bowel movements, they give me that deer in headlights look, like I've just asked them to explain quantum physics or do their own taxes. And then when I tell them I'm asking about their bowel movements because I'm actually worried about their heart, that really clears things up. Nothing says heart health like a good old-fashioned poop chat. But let me explain. We know today that constipation is way more dangerous for kidney disease patients than most people realize. Kidney disease is often associated with an alteration in the gut microbiota called gut dysbiosis. This is a problem because the gut is used by the body to get rid of the same toxins the kidneys are tasked to remove: phosphorus, creatinine, urea, and potassium. What this means is that if constipation is present, the patient is both going to suffer more from the symptoms of kidney disease and also to lose kidney function at a faster rate. So if you're backed up down there, your kidneys are going to feel it. More toxins equals more kidney work equals faster kidney damage. Think of it like this. Your kidneys are the one sober person at a party who has to drive everyone home while also cleaning up the mess. And by the way, if talking about your bowel movements to one doctor isn't enough fun, don't worry. You'll get to repeat that conversation to multiple specialists. Honestly, it's like a bizarre version of speed dating. Yes, I'm still constipated. Yes, I love talking about it. No, I'm not eating bananas. Speaking of bananas, I still see people in the comment section yelling that I shouldn't recommend bananas or avocados because they have potassium. I mean, really? In 2024, people are still treating potassium like it's Voldemort? You can't even say the word without getting a collective gasp.
Voldemort.
News flash, we've moved on from that. So now you understand why when I see you've got high potassium levels, I'm going to ask about your bowel movements, because potassium levels tell me more about your health than you may imagine. And well, luckily enough, most CKD patients are being tested for potassium levels. So in short, having too high potassium levels and constipation usually means that you may be losing kidney function at a faster than normal rate. So question, what are some completely natural ways to treat this issue and help the kidneys? When it comes to constipation, the very first thing you want to make sure you are doing is keeping well hydrated. Nothing moves down there if there is not enough water, alright? Then I also recommend increasing fiber intake. Some patients out there are still being told to avoid fruits and veggies when their potassium is high, which is not only useless, but also like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Avoiding fiber? Yeah, that'll fix it. If by fix it, you mean make it worse. On the other hand, eating more fruit and veggies rich in fiber, especially those with soluble fiber, may really help. Stuff such as figs, sweet potatoes, apricots, strawberries, pears, and berries. Remember, most of the fiber fruit and veggies pack is in the peel. Don't even think about throwing away those peels. They're like the bonus level of fiber, especially if you want to beat constipation like a pro. And let's not forget the fiber heroes, oats and plums. Start your day with some oats. Throw in a few plums for good measure. It's breakfast that says I care about my kidneys without tasting like cardboard. Oh, and yes, fiber supplements like psyllium husk can work wonders too. But there is one thing: you've got to chug them down with enough water, or you're basically creating cement in your intestines. You have been warned. Number 2, since we're already deep in the gutter, literally the gut, let's tackle the next joy of kidney disease: nausea. Yes, nausea, the feeling that turns every meal into a high-stakes gamble of will I eat this or will it just make a quick exit in a not so glamorous way? Nausea is another symptom that can have a big impact on the health and on the quality of life of someone suffering from kidney disease. Have you ever heard about malnutrition or protein energy wasting? Those are fancy ways to say you are losing too much muscle mass. And by the way, that's what most people are afraid of when they think about cutting protein intake. Newsflash, it's not a low protein diet that causes malnutrition, but the inability of the patient of actually eating enough food. So yeah, losing weight because you can't eat is not the kind of body goals anyone wants to achieve. Pro tip, puking your way to a size 0 is not how this works, guys. So if your stomach is staging a rebellion, here's my first suggestion. Try ginger. Yeah, the same spicy root that's been helping settle stomachs since humans realized eating raw mammoth wasn't a good idea. Ginger is like nature's very own anti-nausea pill, minus the pharmacy lines and side effects, of course. But ginger is incredibly powerful when it comes to nausea. It should always be tried before starting a pharmacologic intervention. So try chopping a small cube of fresh ginger, about ½ inch, and just eat it. Yeah, you can eyeball it. Just don't go overboard with it because it can cause heartburn if you eat too much. But in many cases, a small piece of ginger is all it takes to feel less nausea, and yes, it works, even when the nausea is caused by CKD. If chewing ginger feels too much like a punishment, don't worry, you've got options. There are ginger supplements, ginger tea, or you can even sprinkle it on your food like you're seasoning away your suffering. Honestly, ginger is so loaded with health benefits, I recommend shoving it into your diet even if you're not having issues with nausea. Ginger is a powerful anti-inflammatory. It can help with the inflammation associated with kidney disease. Always keep some fresh ginger in your pantry because nothing says I'm good at herbal medicine like having a root that looks like an alien's hand in your kitchen. And remember, if you are anything like me, your ginger is going to sprout, but don't worry, the new part is actually as good as gingers come. And unfortunately, for some patients, ginger is not enough. What do we do when herbal medicine is not enough? Of course, consult your doctor. There are medications that can help with nausea. Now, on to number 1, excessive fatigue. Oh yeah, that never-ending exhaustion that makes you feel like you run a marathon just by existing. It's one of the greatest hits of kidney disease, right next to swelling and midnight bathroom runs. Fatigue is so common that if you don't have it, you're probably some kind of anomaly that scientists should study. Jokes aside, don't let fatigue go untreated just because it's common. It's not just one of those meh, I'll deal with it later things, like it's ignoring the dishes in the sink. If you're dragging through life like a zombie, it's not just because you stayed up too late watching cat videos. It might be anemia. Actually, for many patients, fatigue is the first signs of these dangerous complications of CKD. Here's the kicker. Anemia is so common in CKD patients that some doctors treat it like background noise. No tests, no iron, no treatment. It's like they've hit the ignore button on the kidney alarm hoping the problem will just disappear. Newsflash, ignoring anemia doesn't make it go away. It's like ignoring a leaky roof. You're just inviting disaster to move in. This is incredibly dangerous. Anemia is not just the main cause for fatigue in CKD patients. It also damages the kidneys. That's right, anemia can make your CKD get worse, faster. But here's the good news. You can do something about it. How? Step 1, get informed. I recently did a deep dive into how you can combat anemia and other dangerous complications of CKD. If you haven't seen it yet, it's up here and also down in description. And here's the most important part. Don't let anyone ignore your health. Don't let your doctor treat your concerns like an overdue email. Get tested. Get treated. Your health is in your hands. Take action now. Go out there and fight back because your kidneys are worth saving. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye-bye.